Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back, Pinnacle's Hay Farm. Today, I need to, well, actually, this afternoon. It's hard to say this afternoon because it kind of feels like it's evening. It's actually only afternoon, but the sun goes down so dang fast. We need to put some tarps up over the barn, and I'm looking for the tarps right now. Um, so one of the things that I think that a lot of farmers underestimate, and this is just my personal opinion, is that we have to be careful when it comes to not just making hay um, and storing hay, but in terms of like long-term storage. So if I have hay that may be sitting for the weekend or something like that, we have to be careful that we're making sure that that hay is properly protected from sun damage as well too. So sometimes you'll hear farmers talking about bleaching, when their bales get bleached. And when a bale gets bleached, it just means that the sun has kind of hit it and it kind of dulls down the grass fibers. It kind of makes it unattractive, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It still holds a lot of its nutritional value. It will slowly dissipate that away over time. But kind of, I was thinking about this too when I came by the carport today. So same thing I do with the carport. I cover the carport just so that anything inside is kind of protected from the weather as well as the sun. Um, the sun, as you can see, is right there. It's going west. Um, but in the morning, the sun does come up in the east, and you can see there's cats coming this way. But in line with the cat, in line with that telephone pole is kind of where the sun comes up from that side. So you have a few hours of direct sunlight, which affects this carport and anything that's inside there. It also, that same angle is also what's coming in on the barn. So what we'll be doing today is using the tractor. I'll lift it up a partial way, use a ladder to climb up there to get in the buckets, and then we'll be working on these areas here, these two openings to this barn. And again, reason is because we have the bales that are in there. We want to keep them so you can kind of see. Let's take a look here. You can see how they're nice and green. And we want to keep it that way, but the sun coming up from the east, similar to what we saw at the carport, the sun from the east will actually hit this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, and it'll start turning this green hay kind of a yellow color, and eventually it'll even turn white over time. So we want to make sure that we're protecting it for as long as we can, because we may have it in here for a few months before people come to get them. Um, so similar to like this, which is first cut hay, this you can kind of see it's kind of yellowed down a little bit because we didn't have it covered. It was just kind of exposed, and people were pulling from the stacks when they needed it. But when it sits for a little bit of time, you can kind of see even the difference down here. It's kind of yellowish a little bit. Still perfectly good hay, and you open it up, but aesthetically pleasing, some people would say it may not be. So we just try to make sure that when we're utilizing the barns, we try to keep the hay in the best possible condition. So we'll be hanging the two tarps, one from that entrance, one from this one, and it should give us the protection we need both from the sun, the wind, and the snow as we go into winter. All right. So I don't know if you guys can hear or not, but those cats that we looked at earlier, the cat that's anyway, I have one of them that follows me around. That's the one that's been on previous videos, and she's down there giving me advice, and telling me how to tie this up the right way, she said. So I'm trying to be a good steward and listen to her advice. Yes, baby. Okay. And this is kind of where her domain is. So these haystacks are places that she likes to sleep, keep warm, and hunt for mice and other things in the winter. So this is actually, having this protection up here actually benefits her as well too, because it'll keep the wind off of her, and maybe it'll help keep other animals away from here as well too. So good to have the cats around. All right. So here we have the two different ways. Again, 12 by 16. So we know that the barn is approximately 13, maybe almost 13 and a half feet high, because that would be the 12. On the 16 side, we have all the extra material here. And I'm kind of wondering if it'd be good just kind of tuck it underneath and put cinder blocks on it, and maybe that would just kind of keep it stationary. But I do also like the idea of having it kind of loose here so that, you know, the wind can kind of go in and out and not damage the canvas. But this is the way it's set up right now. And because we're losing so much daylight, I'm not going to have time to adjust this today. But I got a good idea of at least what it looks like. And I think I'm favoring that right side. So if I do that side and then just turn this 90 degrees and make it to where it matches that, I think that would be a good way. And then we can kind of lace up between the two tarps and kind of keep that solid there as a one panel. And then again, as we get people that need to get hay, we can simply just roll that up and clamp it. And that's usually how the way I deal with that. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a quick project, but something that needs to get done. And with the other barns too, when it's time to do something with those, we'll also look at covering the fronts on those. Not so much this year because a lot of people picked up their hay in advance this year. They don't want to be coming out here in the winter, so they packed their barns with as much as they could. But next year, you know, if we do have a lot of extra hay in the barns, we'll do the same thing that we're doing with these barns with those as well too. And again, it's just to help keep the hay looking better, retain the nutrients, keep it from weathering. You definitely want to protect the product. So as dusk falls, I want to thank everyone again for stopping by. Please subscribe if you haven't. I love that. Hit some likes. If you have any comments, you know, I'd like to hear that as well too. But again, it's getting dark. Sky's turning black. So with that, I'll wish you guys a good day and we'll see you down the road. Take care. Bye.